Do you know that God is writing your story? That's the topic that we're going to address today on Flourish-Meant. I'm your host, Tina Yeager, and today I have some incredible guests with me. We have acclaimed author Tamara Battaglia, and she's here with her husband, broadcast media executive Joe Battaglia, and they are going to share how to look for the Lord in the everyday moments of your life. Welcome, Tamara and Joe. I'm so excited to have you on Flourish-Meant today.
Thank you.
Tina.
Thanks, Tina. We're
Thanks
glad
for
to be
having
here.
us.
Yep, love it.
Tamara, let's talk about Written in Heaven and how personal the stories are that are in here, even though these are basically famous women that you have included as the authors in this story. The pieces that they submitted to be part of this book were very relatable, very personal. Can you talk about the types of stories that people can expect to experience as they're working through this devotion?
Each story is very honest. I was very moved by many of them that they truly shared from their heart and their life experiences. And some have gone through divorces, cancer, abortions, just many of life circumstances. You will find a story in there that will speak to your heart. It will be something that you're going through as well. And God will minister to your heart when you read their stories.
Can you speak to that woman or man that's out there watching this that might be saying to themselves, I'm not sure I can see the hand of God in my life? How can you help them bridge the gap between where they are, how they feel, and the reality of God writing moments into their story they might not be aware of?
Your question of how do I know God is there and how can I relate in some way that enables me to see him and know him? And I think we think that we, number one, have to be a better person than we think we are in order to get God's favor, which is totally incorrect because that's what grace is about. Mm-hmm. So we have to realize that we're not as bad as we may think we are, and we're also not as good as we purport to be. I talk with people often about this question because they want to know how do they find out God's will, basically? And I try to help them understand that God's will is not what you do, it's who you are. And so it's all about a relationship that empowers you in ways you cannot do by yourself or just by thinking that God's going to, not like you because he's mad at you somehow. The idea of getting closer to Jesus is really the first issue, to get to know God better, because that is really what is required of us, right? And so that's what I try to help people understand, that develop the relationship. Don't worry about trying to see down the road or how to believe that God's going to like you more than you think you should be liked and so forth. So I think that's important. I think, that verse in Psalms that says that the word is a light to our feet and a lamp to our path. It's not a floodlight. You're not supposed to see down the road. You're just supposed to see enough of what's in front of you to take the next step. So I like to help people take a deep breath and relax and try to understand that God really does love you. There's nothing you can do to earn it. Stop trying, get closer to Jesus, and then the rest will happen more naturally than if you tried to take it into your own hands.
Your life can be a graceful combination of beauty and pain, and God gives us beauty for our ashes. And I have found that in my own life. And he's always been faithful. He's always heard my prayers. He's met every need. He meets our emotional needs, our spiritual needs, our mental needs, our financial needs. And it's never going to be in a way that you're expecting. He always works in unexpected ways and gives us divine solutions for every day and what we're going through. But we need to look for him and understand that he does hear us. He sees us. He wants us to reach out to him with everything that's going on in our lives. If you're having a hard time being a parent, he wants to be there for you. He loves you and he cares about you and he wants to work through you each one of us has a ministry that even though some of us are reluctant in our ministry, but that's where God comes in and shows up and works through us. And it's exciting to see him move, and it's exciting. It really is exciting to see how he's going to do things. We just need to look for the unexpected. He always shows up in unexpected ways.
Yes, and it sounds like you were so immersed in his presence outside of the moments that you personally experienced in your beautiful God story of coming together as a couple, that the time that you spent in prayer, the time that you spent in the Bible made it so you could recognize the blessings, even in the midst of times when not necessarily this time when you were coming together might not have been the best times of your lives. You were able to see him moving. And that may be part of the difference between when we don't see God in our circumstances and don't believe that he's there, and we can actually see him showing up. Even if things aren't all going perfectly, he's there in those moments.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Were there things that surprised you as you collected these stories from these women who also were showing evidence that they were aware of God moving in their lives? Were there things that you noticed were surprising about these stories as you read them and collected them?
Oh, absolutely. The remarkable thing about this book is we had a list of women that we were going to reach out to. And then, as God does, some could do the book, some could not. So he would reach out to other people. And so God put this book together, and he chose the women that are in this book and their stories that are in this book. I think sometimes we live in our own little bubble and we think we're the only ones going through this or experiencing this or having a hard time with something. And you read this book and you're like, oh, she went through that. I didn't know that. Jennifer O'Neill, I knew she had been the cover girl for many years, but I had no idea all the things that she had gone through. And then her walk with the Lord is so strong now, but it's an amazing redemption story. Amazing redemption story.
I like to think that it humanizes everybody, which makes it easier for us to accept that God can work in our lives as well, despite our pain, despite our circumstances and everything that we go through. So the wonderful thing is that the foot of the cross is the greatest level playing field of all time. No one's better because they give, and no one's lesser because they receive from God. So we have to come to the understanding that each of us comes with what we have, with a loaf and a fish, and it's up to God to multiply it. And if we can believe that he can, then whatever we have, we offer. We don't have to try to find something bigger than what we have to offer. And I think that's helpful for people to see in their own lives as well. So these people may have some renown to them, but they're still at the foot of the cross like us.
That's beautiful. What is one final tip that you would like everyone in the audience to take away with them and to know that you are speaking to their heart in regard to God being the author of their story?
As it says in the Bible, that he directs our steps and guides our paths. It's hard sometimes to see that in our lives, and he does give us beauty for ashes. But one thing, life is full of miracles and surprises, and just I want everyone to look for them, and God puts dreams in your heart, and I want everyone to realize that he sympathizes with our heartaches. He is never absent. God will use you and your story for his glory.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think we share our stories very often. That was one thing I did kind of understand in this book, because I thought, I don't share my story that often. And you would be surprised, God will put people in your life that need to hear your story. And you will never know how much it will bless them, encourage them, inspire them. And I call it faith boosters, where many of my friends through the years, I've been having a hard day or something, and I talk to a friend, and it just gives me a faith booster to where I get in the word and I'm like, okay, God, I know you spoke to my heart through her. And it's very important to share our stories because we just don't know what people are going through. And God will direct you to certain people and in your life to minister to. And it's very important that we recognize that.
And I just throw in there and suggest that you take time to be silent every day. There is power in silence because scripture suggests, I might say demands, that we be still and know that he is God. There's so many parts of scripture where we're admonished to be silent because then we can hear from God. And it's a wonderful thing to not have to feel like we've got to talk. I mean, even praying, you really don't need to use words to pray because it's your heart that actually prays, right? And so God knows your heart. So you really don't need to use your words. That's the way we communicate. So we think we have to. So I would just say to people, you have your story, sit in silence with it. Ask God to reveal things to you that you could then apply and just take time to do that. And you will probably hear more things than you thought you'd hear if you were still talking all the time or trying to do something. It's the Mary Martha type of scenario. Jesus said that she was doing the greater thing. We don't need to be doing things for God all the time. We do need to sit and listen and to sense his presence. No greater way to do that than to sit in silence and see that as a discipline that we have lost because we try to fill every moment with chatter and stuff. So I'd add that to it.
Tamara, can you talk about the benefits of your beautiful new book, Written in Heaven, and where people can find it?
Well, I pray that it will encourage people, inspire people to look for Jesus in everyday life and that he does love you. He has a plan for your life. And you can get it on any major online retailer, Amazon,
Barnes and
Noble,
CBD. Yeah, anywhere you can get a book.
And then if you want to reach out to me, I have an Instagram, Tamara Hester Battaglia, and that is my Instagram page. And I put a lot of things on there about the book.
I hope that all of you listening were inspired to look more deeply into the moments of your life to see how God is writing your story in heaven. And I hope that you will also take advantage of this opportunity to get this beautiful devotional book by Tamara Hester Battaglia. And of course, I also hope that you will come back for the next episode of Flourishment.